Meanwhile, Danica, the boss of X or Twitter, Elon Musk, is in a brawl with Britain's Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, who I must say is acting like a weak man trying to be strong during this crisis. Starmer tweeted, "We will not tolerate attacks on mosques or on Muslim communities," to which Musk quite reasonably replied, "Shouldn't you be concerned about attacks on all communities?" Isn't Musk right? Hasn't he put a finger on something that's angering the anti-immigration rioters who talk about two-tier policing?
Absolutely, Andrew, because this is what's been bubbling under the surface for so long. This is why the anti-immigration protesters are so angry. And the more that they keep being called racists and bigots, the more that pressure cooker continues to boil. And as we've seen in the last week, it's absolutely exploded. And what we've seen with Keir Starmer's response, as well as the mainstream media in the UK, is this guilt that gets thrust upon white people who are historically perceived to have privilege, and therefore, no, it can't possibly be the fault of ethnic minorities or migrants. It's this perception of unconscious bias. Therefore, it's easy. It's so easy and safe for Keir Starmer to take that safe route and not say we need to look after all communities. It's just all about the migrant communities. And you can't just lump everybody into this far right category when there are so many people who are genuinely concerned about the state of migration, which has clearly failed in the UK, and the state of integration. And that's not just also happening in the UK, Andrew. There are obvious concerns back here in Australia, but our leaders are so scared of being called racist that it's just easy for them to take the safe route, which is what we're seeing with Keir Starmer.
Yeah, I think that's correct. But, Will, it's interesting, you mentioned multiculturalism, and this is showing the absurdities, I think, now of it, not only just in the fact that, this idea that you could change a culture and, the people, the poor people whose culture you're changing won't object. When a Prime Minister usually wants to reach out to an ethnic group in this multicultural sort of world that's got issues or that feels excluded, or when he wants something from that community, he goes to their community or religious leaders to make them feel included. So, given that this is a multi-ethnic riot sort of situation where a lot of poor whites are part of the one of the groups, who would the British Prime Minister now reach out to talk to Indigenous Celts or Anglo-Saxons needing assurance and settling down?
He needs to speak to Britons as a whole. We need to stop this mentality of putting people into these neat little racial or cultural categories and treating them differently. Starmer has developed a nickname in the UK now as two-tier Keir, which goes to how he's effectively treating the problems associated with Islam or Islamic cultures in the UK differently to white working class communities. And the easiest way is to say we are all Britons. We have a shared values, we have a shared history, and we are going to enforce the law and we're going to respect our values in an equal way. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that type of leadership from a fundamentally weak and scared leader.